Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. For YouTube viewers, today is Friday. It's the last week of the daily. You will get my weekly webinar coming on from next week. So I'll do it on Saturday and Sunday. Please look out for it. If you like what you see, enjoy it. I hope it's helping you, and share it to a friend. Let's go. So yesterday we were in the trading room and we were looking at this pattern, and I told my traders two things you'll have to be careful of. There are two patterns that have that similar look. One is called a channel. A channel is a reversal one. A channel at the top of a pattern reverses, or a running flat. They both will give you very similar structure inside of that channel looking thing. And the running flat will break out. You wait for it to consolidate. And if it is going to continue to go, you'll buy above that consolidation. So now, can they break out of the structure, still a running flat, break out, make an impulse, and reverse? That is possible. If that is going to happen, you'd want an impulse to the downside. You want the flag, and then you sell. So that is the turning point. That is how you recognize turning points there, right? Now, it's easy when I show you. That doesn't mean when you look at the chart, you're going to get it easy. You're going to get it correct. So what you're looking at now is this is what we have, the entire structure. We're coming down on a weekly structure. We started to make corrections. I warned if you were listening to me from the 18th, from the time I started back doing these free webinars and the daily webinars, I think it was in January, I was warning you that this is not a reversal as yet. We can't confirm it. I don't know where you hear anything else, but that is not so. It's also not telling us whether we're going to go and break the low. We don't know that. That's just a fact. We don't know these things because we're in a corrective structure now. Now, I think the question, and I'll take a few minutes, it's Friday, I hope you guys have a few minutes because this is an educational part I'm going to give you. The question some traders ask me, not my traders pretty good at doing that. Some traders ask me, how do you recognize when something is turning? Or whether it's just a correction for downside? That's a very, very good question. So let me go in the weekly. And here is what the person is asking me. How do we know whether this is turning now to go up here? Or is that just a consolidation to come here? And that, if you know the answer to that, you're pretty much going to be very good at trading, right? Because that's the whole point. Is this turning to go back to make a new one up, or is it? And at the turning point here, you might not know that. You just wouldn't know where the top and the bottom is. You don't know that this is the bottom of this move because it can go and make a new low. And then it might even do this, and you can't tell that that is the bottom because it could make a new low. And you don't know that this is the bottom because it can make a new low. You see, we don't know that this is the top of that movement because we can go and make a new high. So you know that there's a saying, buy at the bottom, sell at the top. It's just a saying. It's a very nice saying, but it's a hindsight saying. So you can always go back and say, wow, we should have bought here and sold here, right? You know who do that? People who have no idea about trading. They can tell you that nonsense because they will tell you it's hindsight in the chart. And I've seen a trader said, if you sold here, make sure you take some profit here. I'm like, dude, really? Did you sell there? They're on a lower level chart, but that's not how it works, right? Because you might not know the turning point. What we do is we look at structures and patterns. And I mean specific type of patterns that exist because these patterns repeat themselves very often. Now, what are the type of patterns we would look at? And why do I think with a 90% conviction that we are going to make a new high? I have a 90% conviction we are going to make a new high. And I've been telling you that while we were coming down. I've been telling you that when this was going up, that it's going to come down back and then go back up. Why? Because we're looking at the way the chart behaves. And if you look at this, you can see this. See that specific pattern there? You see this specific pattern here? You see this specific pattern here? See them? You can go across here and see a number of them too. There's a number of variations of it. And a number of complexity of it, which means they can be more complex than just 3 that I'm showing you. Actually, this one is not 3, but I'm not going to go into details. That one is 5 waves inside. But I'm not going to go into details of it. I'll show you that the next time. But the general structure looks like that. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3. Can it go up from here? Yes, that would be contracting. Can it come back here, break the low, and then go? Yes, that would be regular. At least those are the names that Elliot gave us. He didn't give us the contracting one. The contracting one is I give it, because I think that if you're contracting like this, you're actually contracting on it. He would call that a regular flat. I call it a contracting flat because it's contracted. And if it goes here, then it's a regular flat pattern. It's very simple. So is it a contracting one, or is it going to make a regular one? And you wouldn't know that until you see certain features that would develop. Here is one. This is a correction for downside. Can this be a correction for downside? So you would look internally on a lower level in this structure. And this structure has to have those same similar features. Everything would have everything starts with an impulse. And then you're going to get a correction. And then you're going to get another impulse. And what you would look for is how this impulse develops. That will tell you whether you're coming back here for a correction and continue to go, or whether you're reversing. See how simple it is? Now let's look at the top and see what this is telling us. Right now, this is telling us we're going up. We see the flats. We're getting all these flats forming here. We got this. This one is here, by the way. This one is here. And we made one here. So we have 1, 2, 3. Is this telling us we're coming back here? Or is it telling us we can make another big correction like this and go? If they make another big correction like this, we're 99% going down, even if they make a new high after that. Because this structure now is something we know as a corrective structure that has to go down. If it comes deeper, we are definitely going down, regardless of how big that correction becomes. If we get a flat here, that's a smaller version of even if we get a flag and we go, and we get another flag and we go, and then we make a smaller correction, we're literally going up. Once this moves away from this zone that much, it becomes very impulsive. We're going to have a contracting flat and we're not coming back. So what you will do is you'll trade this up until it fails, until it's no longer going up. And then you will trade it down. Because if it goes really fast down, we're coming to break this low. If they come down as a correction, 1, 2, 3. If this starts here, comes down as a correction like this, and we go back up, we're totally upside. Depending on the depth of that correction. If it comes deep, we're going here, and then we're going down. If they come shallow, we're probably totally upside. See? Now, these are distinctive features and distinctive structures that you would look for, and they will tell you. As of now, I would say 60% we are going down. Let's see what happens at the top here. And if we get a sharp move down, that would pretty much clear everything, right? You would know that we're going down totally. What are the chances of us making a new high? It's possible. There are many reasons in the chart that I think we can, even if we pull back a little, we can make a new high. Now we want to know, is this still going to go, or is that ending? And you come here. Remember that one break, go. This was a running flat yesterday. I was telling my traders, we are either making a running flat or we're making a channel. As I started today's webinar, I said, what are the distinctive features of this? Breakout, consolidate here, and go. If you get this, we might totally go up to the top, because that would be a very sharp move out of it. So what you can do is you can put an end shorter above the top here. And if they go out of that, if this next move makes an impulse out of this, it could be a very, very sharp impulse, and we might totally go up. So the weekly will be a contracting flat. That's a very high probability. If this comes back in here and makes a flag here to go down, we will sell it. But then there are two things you're looking for: either total downside or a bigger correction. If you get a bigger correction, big enough, which means it goes low enough into the structure, then we're going to have one more upside and then total downside. Break the low and then turn. If it's a shallow one, which means it comes down, you make an impulse. This would still be the first impulse. And then you make a correction like this, and then you do this. Then we might totally go up. After that, we can confirm that, you know what, this is a shallow flag here. This is a shallow correction. We're going to go up totally. We're not coming back. We might go break the top. See? In terms of analysis, that's how you look at it. In terms of trading, you have to have strategies how you're going to trade each piece of those moves, because any piece of those moves is tradable. Regardless of whether you're right or wrong about it and the analysis itself, you can still trade every bits and piece of those, like we've been doing all the time, right? So do we have a trade today? For me, I'm putting an inch shorter on top there. And I would wait because I'm not sure that they will go tag the inch shorter. This could be a reversal point for a correction or for total downside. So if I get a flag here, I'm selling. I'll probably need more than 2 hours. I'll probably wait for about 6, 4, 5 hours here. And if I get this, I'm going for a sell. And we will see whether the sell is a correction or the sell is an impulse to the downside. I mean bigger impulse. It will start as an impulse, but I mean whether it's a much bigger impulse that will break out of this structure totally. We don't know that. We have to wait and see. Gold, the magic work, right? Yesterday we had this structure and I told you based on what I see here, this has to come down here, go back up there. Well, honestly, I thought we'll break that top because that was a specific structure I was looking for, and then come down. They did very similar, but they didn't do exactly what I wanted. Actually, it's a little different in that they didn't break this low. That's one, and they didn't break the top. That just makes a more complex pattern. Now this structure is not what I was looking at, but it's something like this. It has become a little more complex. So let me see if I can explain that to you. This is one piece, and this is another piece of a more complex pattern. See? So what you have is a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, and we get a sharp move down here. So we're still in correction. If you put this correctly, you have to put it like this and like this. All of this is still correction. So at some point, we still have to go and break the top. And when we break this top, we would either totally go up or we will come back down, go break this top probably, and come back down here. Now, this is a very complex pattern, and the more it develops, the more complex it can become. So we'll just wait. For today's trade, this is what I would do. I have a move up here, and we've got 1, 2, 3. I saw this, but that wasn't a sell setup this morning. You can see where I put my direction, where I'm looking for. I'm looking for a trade to the upside, not the downside, because I saw this impulse, and then you have a 1, 2, 3 in it. You're going to go back up. And it depends on how high this goes. If this stops short here, we're going to drop. We're going to totally drop, which means this impulse is going to go much lower. Now, I'm not expecting them to go lower. I'm expecting them to go up. Now, it can go lower. It can even break this low. That will just change the entire pattern we're looking at, the entire structure we're looking at here, right? If this comes and break the low, if they come here and they go and break this low, this whole piece will change the way we look at it. But for now, as it's developing, this is what we think we're going to get. You had a small one here, something I was not interested in because the first impulse is up. I want the next impulse to come here. This might be a buy because we don't know whether this go break the top or whether it stops short here and go down. I am more inclined to believe it's going to go break the top. So if I get a buy setup here today, I will go with the buy. I'll put it to break even, and maybe it becomes a break even trade. See? And then we will see. I'm still expecting them to go break this top and most likely this top. So if we get a buy setup here, I'll go for it. Silver. Perfect. Remember, I told you got to watch this channel and watch it from here. I thought they'll probably make a bigger correction here. But then they drop here. We got the sell there. It drops to this level. At this level, we were very careful. We were in the trading room. We actually saw that reversal point. We know where it's going to come. It came now. You're getting a flat here. So this is perfect. This needs to come down a little more here, make a perfect flat, and then look for upside. How far up this can go? Let's look at a bigger structure. This is what you have. We still expect this move to happen and come almost to this level before we go back up. Most times that is what it would look like. Now, can they go back up from this point? Yes, they can do that. That might even be a little different structure. It can change the pattern we're looking at. But I'm not expecting this to happen. But if that happens, we'll relook at this pattern like this. Maybe we will still go with this, depending on how this structure goes up. Right? There's a number of patterns that could develop in the future with each new piece that is added to it. And that is why I'm telling you, there are a number of patterns that exist. Each piece would create a distinctive pattern. So it's how good are you at recognizing these patterns will tell you. So we looked at this yesterday, and I looked at it, I said, okay, be careful when you're coming into this area because we're going to go back up. Now the question is how. This is what I would like it to do because this is a known pattern. I would like this to go here, come back down, go back up there, maybe come back down, maybe go back up, or just three, and then come to make a new low here. Now we would be buying to the upside. If that happens, I think most of you know that pattern. Some people call it ending diagonal structures. That's what Elliot named it, so we can go. But we will take the ending diagonal not from the top here, but maybe this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be the A part of it, that would be the B part, and you'll get a C that creates an ending diagonal, after which we totally go up. That is one option, but it doesn't have to be a diagonal, not because it's squeezing, it's a diagonal. This could be the end of it and we totally go up. So we will take the buy today and we'll monitor it as it comes to the top. Now the lines are irrelevant to the structure, right? The lines are just giving us guidance. Don't think that they'll come and stop at any of those lines. We're looking for a buy setup here today. And let's see how far that goes. Can this go lower? Well, if this goes lower, if this is going to go lower like this and come all the way to the bottom here, we would still buy, but we'll buy to this top only. And then we'll probably see something like this here. And if we get something like that there, then yes, we will come here and we'll totally go up. As a matter of fact, for me, this would be a better option because I'm also looking for that big trade to the upside. And I don't want to take it from here because this is not a guarantee that it's going to go from here, right? So if they do that structure, we might get some buys and sells within the structures like we did within this one. We saw that like we did within this one. I think I warned you when this was coming down that we're going to have a big one here. And the same thing we'll do here. But for today's trade, we're looking for a buy setup. Let's see how this goes. I want to see this take off. Now I'll be watching it to come back to about this level. And then look for the upside. Now, as it looks right now, it's incomplete, which means you have 1, 2. If this comes back here, we get a 3 and we go. If they go from this point, we will break the top. We will still come back here and we'll go. So if you get the buy earlier, if you put an entry order to buy here and they tag you, you have to keep a stop under the low. Because if this goes out here now, what's wrong with my drawing tool today? If this goes out here and tag you, they can come back like this, making a running flat pattern like that, and then go. So you have to be aware of that. I'm looking for a buy setup. Euro, same running flat pattern we have. When you see this, if it's a channel, you can look for the buy setup, which is putting an entry order above the tops here. And if they go up, great. If they drop, wait for the flag, look for a sell setup. I think we might get a sell setup here today. You get this, they'll probably come back here, go back there, and give us a perfect flat for a sell. So this should be more of a sell setup today. It's not complete as yet. See this piece, we only have 2 impulses. We have 1 impulse here, 1 impulse here. We're doing this right now. They have to come back here, go back up, give you this flat in the middle, do something like this, and then this would be a better sell. If I see that specific pattern, I'll look for a sell. Can we sell this piece here? Can we sell the break of this? You can try, but it might not go very far. Sometimes you get an expanding flat, which means they come here and then they go back up and then fall. So you get this pattern. So if you want to sell that hoping it's an expanding flat or running flat, well, good for you. If you can manage it, right? If you can, then stay away from it and wait until you have a complete known pattern before you sell. But this is likely going to be a sell setup. Can this turn into a buy? Well, the first thing is you have to make sure that this is the low, and that is not the low. This one is lower. I believe this one is lower. Let me just check it. In any case, when they go that low, it's hard to believe that they're going to go up. No, this one is not lower. So in very rare, that would be very, very rare if this comes back here and then we take off totally to the upside, making this the flat before you go up, because this flat is so big at the bottom here. Normally you would want an impulse and a flag like this to go up. Rarely you would find a big flat at the bottom. When you see a big flat at the bottom, generally you're making a bigger flat. You're going to come here, go back up there, and then drop. We know those patterns. So let's see which one they give us. It's looking like a sell setup today, but as it develops, a dash pattern develops, we will figure out what it is and we'll trade it. Right now, it's halfway developing. Pong. So Pong, yesterday we had this. And before this dropped, we were in there. And then this dropped a little, giving you a smaller flag here and a smaller one here. So at this point, that was looking like a perfect flat for downside. But we had made a low. So it will have to be a running flat, which means you can sell only under the low. If you put an entry order under the low, it turns out not a running flat. So we'll have to go with a contracting flat, which would be this. And if you go with a contracting flat like this, then this one is going up, right? But you can only confirm the upside when you get a correction here now. We break out of that top and you wait for a correction to confirm upside, because you can still get an expanding flat. This can still be an expanding flat. And this totally drops. You want to see something like that on the pound? Well, you just have to go a little higher. I think this one, which one? One of them. Well, this one wasn't expanding. This one just went up. It didn't break the top. This one was expanding. We broke the top. See that? We came beyond the low. We went up back, break the top, and then we dropped. Some of them are much more bigger. Some expanding ones are much bigger than that. And I think we can find, the pound has a lot of them. I mean, really a lot of expanding flats that you can find in the pound. So if you go back here, running flats are more common, that's true, but we can find a few expanding flats somewhere. This would probably be one. Yep, this would be one. I think we did break the top. So you can go and look at this one. Let me set the top for you. And I want you to see how deep this pulled back before it go. So if you were here and you came and you broke that top once and you broke it twice, and you're thinking, oh, well, this is downside, right? Because this is dropping really sharp. You made it and you're thinking, well, this is going to be totally going down. Look at that move. We're going down now. And then they reverse because it's an expanding flat. So what would confirm the downside? I'm not saying this wouldn't have gone down, but what would confirm the downside? You wait for it to make a flag here and then break the flag. That would be your sell setup. If not, you reversed it and you look for your buy setup. See, pretty easy. So if you take this and you turn it around now on a downtrend, that is an uptrend. You turn it around on a downtrend and we're exactly at the same spot. This big move up here, can it drop? We just saw the very deep one drop, right? Well, if it's not going to drop, let it make a flag here. Let it confirm that we're going up and you buy. You had a little running flat here, but that was still within this range. I saw that last night, but that was still within this range, so that didn't mean very much at that point, right? And the move up has not gone very far. So now we're going to watch this. I don't think this one is going to turn right now. This piece looks like we're making a smaller flat here for upside. So if you're going to get the sell, let it drop, make a flag here, and then you go for the sell, or you will get a sell only at the bottom here. But it has to drop, make a flag before you sell. So if it is going to be a running flat, let it drop, make a flag, then you go for the sell. If it is an expanding flat. If it is going to go up, wait for a big flag here, go for the buy. Which one? I have no idea. We don't have to know which one at this point. The pattern will tell us. Can we drop again one more like this? Let's say this made 1, 2, 3. Can this make 1, 2, 3, and then go back up? Probably. How deep we'd want it to go? It wanted to go just slightly more like this, and then up. And you would get this pattern. Something I told you is likely going to happen when this was going up. Now, if you go back and you check, and I want you to do this, Google Elliott wave patterns, pound dollar Elliott wave structure, you would see 99.9% Elliott wavers were counting that as an impulsive wave to the upside. And they would have a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABCDs all inside of that. While I was telling you, you know what, that thing has to just come back here and give us one like this and go up, or break through, give us this and drop. Why? Because then we're going to go with the bigger one and we'll put this one with the ones behind. Right now, I think it is more relevant to this one here, because this was a corrective structure going up. It's not an impulse. It's that simple. If you keep it that simple and you understand the structures of it and the patterns and the way they behave, you understand that this will come. It always comes. And that makes your trading a little better. It didn't mean we didn't buy these up. We didn't buy in here, but we bought those up because you can see that we have this pattern. And once we have this pattern, we know we're going to make a new high. So you can make a new high, and you can make a new high. And I tell you, every time you bought, take the profit off because it can drop anytime. And then it started dropping. See the drop there? Come down. You had a flag for a sell. So this one today is either we get a flag here and we're totally going back up. This would be enough for it. That can be enough for the running, for the impulse we're looking at. Or it will make one more here. We can sell this, take profit off, and wait to see whether they drop more or they reverse. Because at this point, both of those could happen. So let's see today. What is that? Is it an expanding flat or are we turning? We'll know. I'll take this off so it's not to bias any one of you. And I'll take this off too. And we will wait here. I'll leave these and we'll wait here to see whether we make a flag or whether we drop. If we drop, we'll sell. If we make a flag, we'll buy. Aussie. Aussie, yesterday we had this and I told my traders this is not a reversal because we don't have a low starting to go up. What we have here is a consolidation in the middle. You have to get a low. You can't go up like that. That is impossible. Well, they dropped and they made a low. So this one dropped and now we have a low. So when you have a low point and they're going up from the low point, the question is that a reversal or can we still make a bigger pattern here? So let's take the pattern and put them. If you pull this out and you put it here, you look at 1, 2, 3. Can this be 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3. If we look at this now as a 1, 2, 3, then one more downside is possible. You had one of that previously here, see? This one was easier because we saw it very clearly and we know we're going to go lower, right? This one is not that easy because we were already at a low. So put it like this. Can this now drop like that? Very similar pattern, also running flat there. Well, if it is going to drop, what you do? Remember what we did the last time? We put an entry order here with a stop above this. So you can put a stop here and put an entry order there. If it drops like that, good for you. What if it just drops like this and decide to go back up? Well, you're going to get out for break even. What if it drops like this? Well, good luck to you. Right? I don't know what it's going to do. Well, what if it's not going to drop? What if this is not a running flat and we just made a contracting flat, something like that? And this is a reversal. Well, you do the same thing. You wait for this to convince you that it is going up and we will all buy. It just has to convince me that we're going up. Here is a flag that you're looking for. See that flag there? Look for that flag and then buy. Don't buy it now. It's the minute you buy, it's going to drop and you don't want to know what the hell. You say, oh, well, we broke this thing. We broke. I'm buying. No. I see traders do that. Look, we broke out. Let's buy. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Because you click buy here and then you watch it do that. See? So we will wait for, if this is going to go up, wait for a flag. I am more convinced, I am pretty convinced that this is an expanding flat, running flat, sorry, which can become an expanding flat and we're going to the downside. And the reason I'm so convinced of that is because of the way this piece looks. You have a 1, 2, 3. With a move up, and the chances are this is going to go down. If you ask me, that's a 90% chance of that going. Well, I could be wrong 10%, and it's going up. So what will I do? How will we sell it? Two ways you can do. First, you put an entry order here. All right, first you put an entry order here. That is if they fall without warning. But if you can get an entry better at the top here, and I mean, if you have a strategy how you're going to get an entry there, good luck with that. It might work for you. Now, we're not going to go into that details because then we have to discuss strategy here, which we're not doing right now. So I'm going to leave it like that and we will see which one it is. If I'm going to get a buy, it will take me about 6 hours to get a buy. So I'm not interested in a buy within the next 6 hours. I need a flag that is about 6 hours. New Zealand has a similar structure, so I'm not going to go into the details. I'll just draw it and show you. See, this one looks like a contracting flat. This will be a running flat. You notice I already have my line set here. That is in a 15 minutes. Waiting to see whether I can get that trade to the downside. Now, you don't want to jump in this too early. This could still be a flag, right? And you can go back up. So be careful. I don't want you guys to jump in this a little too early. This is still forming. It's not the reversal as yet. You'll have to have good skill levels to get the reversal at the top. If not, put an entry order here and go for the sell. We had a similar one here, right? With the stop at the top there. We had a similar one here, right? Look at this one. Same thing, right? You could have, of course, get it a little higher here, or you can get it at this point. So are they repeating the same thing? Well, if they repeat the same thing, we might get a drop the same distance. We might get a drop like this, right? Come on. We might get a drop that looks like, what's wrong with this again? We get a drop like looks like this. I don't know how big it will be. It can be small. They might just drop like this and go back up, because you're going to get divergence here, and that happens, right? You get divergence here, and they start to. Worst case is you get out for break even. That's your worst case scenario. Get the hell out of the trade if you know this is going to reverse, right? So because this is going to be an impulse, a correction, an impulse, a correction. This is going to be your third impulse. They could get a fourth and a fifth impulse, but most likely after the third one, you get divergence, they're going to turn, either for a deeper correction or for the reversal up. So go for the trade. Let's see how it works. Let's go. CAD. Good. CAD is at this point. Yesterday I told you, watch this when it comes to the low. If you take that trade, watch it when it comes to this low, because we're getting a 1, 2, 3 with this one, and we're likely going to go back up to about this level. At that point, I thought we will come down here. That would be a regular flat. But instead, they go all the way to the top here. So can we look at this as a possible running flat? This one has a 1, 2, 3 inside. This has a 1, 2, 3 there. This has a 1, 2, 3 back to this level. Well, if that is a running flat, we're going up. Very simple. That's a running flat, we're going up. To me, it looks like a running flat. It has all the features for running flat. So this one is coming down. Let's see what happens when it gets to about here. If we get a buy setup, I'll go with it. I'll watch it at the top here, because once they break the top, they can stop and reverse. We're at the top where they can reverse. I've shown you that many times. This is where, remember when we were buying at the bottom there, we said we'd like it to go to the top, because they always go to the top. And when they get there, they can reverse. See that? We can come back down here. We can come back down here. The down move is very slow. Based on this one, I don't think this is coming down. I might be wrong, but I don't think this one is coming down here. If this is coming down, then it's going to break through, make a flag, and then we will all sell it. It's not going to come like this. It's likely going to come like this. See how these came? If you're lucky, you get that piece, and then they do this. So we would look for the downside as well. Very likely they could be coming down. But if they give us this running flat and it breaks out, I would be in the buy. I'll put the buy to break even, which means if this gives me a move up, I'll take the trade, break the top, put it to break even. They reverse, make a flag, we sell. We'll get out of that trade for profit. Don't worry. All right, you just move your stops and you can follow it for profit. Let's see which one it is. I don't know which one it is, because we don't have enough information at the top there to tell you that it's coming down totally, or they're going to make one more up. Swiss, this one was pretty easy. Yesterday, we expect this to drop here, make a regular flat, and then go. They actually went up, make a running flat, and then go. You're getting a flag here, and that's a buy setup. Let's see what it looks like in the 15. Don't buy this yet. You may want to wait a little, because you have a flat here, and you get this one making a flag here and a flat here. So they'll probably, I'm not sure whether this, wait a second, this might not be part of that. This one might be part of its own one. This might be a new one. You get this here. This will probably come back, give you a running flat, and then go. Be careful of the buy here. Keep a stop lower, because it could be a running flat. Once you get this correction in here, that's possible running flat in the making. That is how we know this one was a running flat, because of all these corrections inside of this. And that is how we know that one was a running flat. So you might be making a running flat here right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop. This goes here and drop like that. Wait for this pattern, and then look for the upside. It is likely a running flat forming there. Yen came back to the top as we expected, right? Nothing new here. This is not new. We are in the buy. Some of us are still in the buy. Some of us take the break even, because it goes very slow. So what happens at the top here now? It depends on how you look at this entire piece. And there are two ways you can look at that. Let me go through very fast. One of them is you can look at all of this as the correction. We're not going to the details as to why, because that will take long. Then you can look at this as 1, 2, 3. We will come back here and then go. Right? That will complete this pattern. That is one option. The second option is you look at it like this way. See that? This is the flat, and then you look at this as a 1, 2, 3 coming down here, and then this will just continue to go. So this is the point where they'll tell us they're coming back here for one more and then go, or we're just going to continue to go. Well, let's go look at it and see what we have. You can stay with the buy if you want. You see this is giving you a buy, but you're making something again that it would either be a channel or a running flat. Remember that? I told you about that, right? This would either be a channel or a running flat. If this comes here and go back up, you buy. If it drops through the channel, make a flag, we sell. See, it's pretty simple. Drops through the structure, make a channel, you make a flag, you sell. Stay in the structure. If it stays within the structure here, especially if this crawls up more and then come here, you're looking for a buy. That's a small running flat. See that? Very simple. Just wait for one out of the two. If we keep going up, we can go as high as possible. They can crawl up like that very slowly, but they will get to this stop. That's a big trade to the upside that you want. If they drop to the bottom here again, once more, let's say they drop through and make a flag come here. You're going for that trade from here. This one would definitely go because it's not going to get bigger than that. That would be the end of that structure. If they come back here, if they just keep going, well, we'll assume that this is the impulse and this is the impulse and that is the big correction. It's very complex in the middle there because there are two contracting flats, and that is why you can get it up both ways. If you're wondering why the hell this guy is saying it can be both, it's because of the contracting nature of this one. If this one had broken the top, that would be conclusive. It didn't break the top, and because the top is not broken, and because of the way this went down, it's like I said, it's a long story. We're not going to go through that. You have to know wave analysis in depth to understand what I'm going to show you there. So it's a waste of time if I explain to you now. So let's go. Aussie yen. Aussie yen, we were expecting a big move to the upside. It will happen. Remember this? Go back, watch the webinar. Guys, this is a correction. We're going to get this. It's very, very simple. It's not difficult. You can do it after a time if you keep watching me, right? So we're going to get that. We have it. Now, is this the up move? It's rare that you get a big flat there, but you can get that. And that could be the up move. Or they will drop one more here and then go. So let's look at that and what would be your buy setup or your sell setup. We've got a flat in the middle there. It's a running flat, the most common pattern you would ever see. See, it's a running flat, we're going up. Now you can't buy here. Because if you buy there, what you have is 1, 2, 3, and it drops like this. Go back up, you got taken out of the trade and then watch it goes up. And you're like, man, this guy said it's going to go up and I bought and look what happened. I lost the trade and now it's going. So we have to make sure that this gives us a reason to buy or a reason to sell it back to this level. So what we wait for, let it go a little more, let it make a flag. Now you have a reason to buy. Now you can buy it. Well, what if it goes big? Well, that's not your good luck then. That's your bad luck. If it goes much more before you get the flag, sorry. You jump in it and you learn a lesson. The minute you jump in, people like to say the market is watching me. As soon as I get the trade, I took a wonderful buy and then look what happened. And I didn't buy it and look what happened. Right? You didn't buy it, go up, you buy it, it goes down. Happens to you? All traders think that happens to them. Because it's called impatience. You jump into things you don't have a setup for, and then you wonder why it's happening to you. And every time you jump in, it will happen to you. Because you're always jumping in the wrong place. And the ones you think went without you are actually not going without you. It's just that you didn't look at them for a long time. When you come back and you look at it, it's going up. So you will come back and watch this thing get to the top here. Just like you watch this go down. You'll watch it happen. But you still have to have a setup to trade. Here is a good setup to buy. See that buy there? See this buy here? Wait for it to give you a flag. Then you take the trade. Let's see if we get a flag today. I think they can go up, although there's a big flat there. For me, it would be better if they drop. It would be better for me if they do this and then start to go up. We'll get a flag here and we'll buy it. We actually bought this. I actually bought that already. I bought it and closed it. Turns out I think it was a break-even trade or 2 pips or something, break-even trade basically, because it didn't go the way I expected it to go. So let's wait now for the next setup. New Zealand yen, very similar. Remember this? I was telling you, actually this is on YouTube. You don't have to remember it. Go watch it. If you're watching this video for the first time, go to my YouTube channel, go to community section, and there's a step-by-step analysis of this, starting from when this started to come down, right? Every single thing that happened is there. And with the trade setups for the sell, there was a sell here, there was a sell here, and then there was a sell here, if you remember, and then there's another sell here. So all the sells are there. You can go watch it. All the trade setups are there. Now, what do we have here? Do we have another sell, or is it turning? Again, this looks like a flat that could go one more down. Maybe just one more piece here before they go back up, because this is very likely going to go back up. I still think this is a big flat and not the start of the downside. It could be the start of a very, very big move to the downside. This we do have divergence, so this could be the start of a very big move to the downside, all the way back to the low. That's possible. Structurally, that's possible. But because this one came up so deep to the top, I still think they might make a new high before they go down. Because normally you would just get a small correction here and drop. You wouldn't get a very big one to the upside. Once they go so deep, once they come back deep, you're always thinking it's a flat. So which is this? Let's see if we get a sell here today, we'll take it. So what would be your sell setup? Put an entry for the sell and see where it goes. Put an entry order under the low. And see if they drop, how far they go. Now they might just drop and break the low here and go back up. You'll have to get out of the trade. You can actually go in at an early point. You don't have to go so low. If this breaks the top, you can move it to this level here. Right? You might even get it higher than that. What if this is going to go up? What if this is just a flat at the bottom here? Running flat, again, is the most common one. What if this is a running flat and this one is totally going up? Just go up to make a new high, a big new high. You don't want to miss that trade, right? Well, wait for a flag. Wait for this to go here, make a flag, and go for the trade. That is not going to happen today. That will happen next week because that flag will take you about a day. It has to look something like this, something like one of these smaller flags you have in here, something like this. That will be your buy set. If you don't have that, you're not buying. You can see how many of them you have here, right? You're looking for something that convinces you that they're going to come and break this top here. And that means you want a really good flag. You don't want to try to buy it there. That's not a good buy. As a matter of fact, if they make a flag here, you have to be careful because we haven't broken the top. So if you get a flag here, all they can do is break the top and drop. You want them to break the top and then make a very big flag to go. See? Pretty easy. Let's go. Next one. CAD. Okay, stay away from this one. Swiss yen. You're getting a sell setup. This one is easy. This one is not complicated. They're going down some more, at least some more for sure. Right? This is a sell setup. That was a sell setup. If you take this, it might not give you a big drop because we're still within this consolidation. You might just get something like that. But that's a nice short trade. You can take it and get out immediately. Aussie Swiss. Okay, we're looking for the upside, and it's starting to happen. It's not a very good one. We saw this yesterday. I don't know if any of my traders take this trade. After that consolidation, it's a trade we're taking, but this thing has a lot of sharp moves that is a mess, but you can still trade it. It has been doing that all the way, right? If not, wait for a flag, go for this straight to the top. We're going to go higher. They'll make a number of flags in that one going up because of this move. You would have to be careful without the flag thing here because this could be something like this forming here. See that? It could be some running flat forming here for one more down and then up. So unless you get a flag, don't buy it. Wait, be careful of that possibility there. All right, let's go. Aussie CAD, look for a sell. I think this is just a sell. It could be the start again. They all have this pattern where you have a running flat here that could be bigger move, but you wouldn't get a bigger move unless it goes up, make a flag. Which means unless this thing go up like this and make a flag like that. Right? That will take a while. Then you can buy. But as it stands right now, it's a sell setup, which means if it drops, you sell. Aussie, New Zealand. Okay, so we got this small running flat, and now they're going up in a very weird way. Once that small running, it's a contracting flat, but once that small contracting flat breaks, goes through the top here, we're still going to get this one, which is this one here, right? We're still going to get it. Just a matter of when they might make a new high and then come here. Probably ignore it. It's not the best trading, and then you're going to go back up. So it's behaving exactly the way patterns form, but it's very complex. They're making a lot of complex running flats and contracting flats and all of that in it. So stay away. Here's what you want with this. Let it go break the top. I'm ignoring this thing until it goes break the top, and then we'll look for a sell setup. Because we showed you this running flat here, right? Once this low is broken, we know we're going to come back somewhere to this level. So let this thing do whatever it's doing and get to the top there. And then we start looking for that sell. The sell would look something like this. See? All that consolidation finishes. That's a 4-year. How much years consolidation? This is from 15. Oh, that's a 5 years, 6-year consolidation, my friend. That's 6 years of consolidation. So if we get 6 years of consolidation to the top here, right, with 1, 2, 3, then you're going to get a move down like that. See that? You're going to get a move down like that. This is where trading becomes interesting. Right? On a move like this going down, because they're going to move, if each impulse is going to be really big in comparison to the corrections. See, if you're getting one of the impulse and you stay with it, they drop a lot. The entire day it will be dropping, then make a small flag, and the next day it drops again. Right now in here, you can see that it's going, right? The direction we get is correct, but look at the way it's going. That's a problem. So go back here and let it go. Just ignore this until it gets to the top there, and then we'll see what happens. Eurocat. Okay, this webinar is going to be super long because it's already about an hour. I've been explaining too much things along the way, but I think it's good for you. That should help you understand wave analysis better. Stay away from this. Okay, let's see what happens here if you get the one more up. It's kind of make the flat here already. So it's either they go up today, we finish that, or they drop some more, make flags, and then we sell. Right? Don't try to sell it in that mess. Wait for it to drop some more. I think most likely we're going to see one more up because you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, and I can see this going up. So let's see if that goes up. It's more complex than that because I think this piece, this is a running flat that belongs to this piece here, right? Don't look at that. This belongs to that. And this is your impulse up. Now you're coming down. You make a flat here. You drop here. Let's see if we go up. Do you want to sell that small one? I wouldn't sell it because they might just do this and go up, right? Let it drop. If this is the top and we're going down for the next big move, right? Let me show you the structure again. I think I'll cut short this webinar with less charts today because it's Friday and I don't want to make it too long. If this is going to go down, let it drop some more, make a flag here, and then we sell. If it's going up, let them do that. This trade is a good one. And maybe that's the end of it. We're going to go down next week. Let's see what happens today, right? Euro yen. Look for the buy setup, but it's not there as yet. We're looking for the buy setup. Again, you have the same pattern you have on all the yen pairs, which tells me that we might get one more down before we go. All the yen pairs have this, right? Aussie yen has it, New Zealand yen has it, Euro yen has it, CAD yen has it. All the yen pairs, you can go through them and see they have a similar pattern at the bottom there. So we might get one more drop down before we go because this one is very flat. This one is super flat. You might just come here and then drop, then go. So we might get a sell setup here today, and then next week we get a buy to the upside. Euro Swiss. Okay, perfect buy setup. Now that you've got all this consolidation, that's a perfect buy setup. And that buy should come and break this top. Right? So we would assume that this was a correction in here. An impulse, a correction, another correction. Let's see if this goes and how far it goes. We're expecting it to come break the top, but at least you're going to get one impulse. Put it to break even and let's see how far it goes. I don't like the fact that the consolidation is here, but sometimes they do that and take off. Right? That consolidation happens there and they take off. Let's go. Euros. Okay. We should go up some more. I don't think this is a contracting flat again. Do we have another contracting flat here? Well, if we get a flag here, we'll go with that assumption that it's a contracting flat and sell it. We don't have a flag there, so I think we should see this. At least back to the top there and then the downside. Let's see if we're going to get that trade properly today. Yeah, it's very likely we're going to get it. Come on. It's very likely we're going to get it. We have an impulse. You have a flat here. And you're getting an impulse down. If this goes up, we want that trade. Take that trade there. If they're going to go down more, wait for another flat like this. And then sell. We don't have another flat or flag there. So if it drops without you. Right? So let's see. It's still in the consolidation. The bigger picture is downside, but it would be better for us if we break the top here first and then get the sell. Right? Because if this comes back here, this could be a more complex correction in there, or it could drop the bottom. If we get flags, we'll sell and we'll see where that goes. But breaking the top would be the best option for us, for the sell especially, when you get the buy. Let's go. Okay, this one is also making a complex, more complex pattern. It broke out, but it didn't go anywhere. Now you're getting a flat here. You're literally getting a flat here, right? See this? This is looking like a 1, 2, 3 in the middle of this. One, this would have to go back up like that, and then you'd come back here and then go. This is a very complex pattern. Every time you see that, that flat pattern is a known one. So you get this one, you get this one up, you complete that there, you probably get this one down, and then you go back up there, right? So this would be more of a running flat after that. Stay away from it. There's no reason to sell it at this point. It's not going to go very far after that. I don't think this is dropping to the bottom anymore. It's kind of a weird, complex pattern forming. This inverse kind of flat looking pattern in the middle of that structure happens a lot. You will see it on the cat pair most likely, not on this one. Wrong Oz. Okay, we're getting the downside now, right? We broke the top. We're getting the downside. Pretty easy, right? We're going to go break the top. Now we're coming down. So look for your sell setup. This is easy, right? This one is doing exactly what we wanted it to do. It went, it broke the top, and the arrow is coming. It's actually following the arrow. Let's look for the sell setup now. Do we have a sell setup? No, we don't. Wait for a flag and take the trade. That's a perfect sell setup. I'm pretty sure some of my traders are already in that trade. So you'll wait for this to make a flag, and then you'll go for this trade here. See, the magic works. Let's get that trade. That's a nice trade down. It might be as sharp as this if we get a flag like this here, but you want a smaller flag than that. Let's see if we can get a small flag today. That would be amazing for that trade down. And from that point, two things are going to happen, right? We will either go back up like this or total downside. We're going to go into the details of that next week. We can't do that today, right? Today is not possible. After that, we were expecting this. Most likely, I think this is going to go here, right? So when we get this pattern complete itself, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then we were expecting it to come here. And from there, downside. Let's go back to the 1 hour, wait for a flag, and then go for the trade. We don't have any flags, so wait for a flag. The flag will confirm because we cannot say that this is finished. That up move is finished unless we get a flag to prove the downside, because it could still go make a new high and make a new high and make a new high and still come back here. Right? That is possible. We're just assuming that that's the end of it once it broke the top. It's to complete that pattern, it's breaking the top, but breaking the top doesn't mean that the impulse is completed. The impulse could still go some more, and then drop. But the requirements to say it's okay that that's a regular flat is breaking the top. Punkat. Yes, I think I warned about this. Breaking the low and then turning. Be careful. I think if you took the trade, you got break even out of it, because we're ending up with either this running flat in here or this bigger running flat. So if we get a correction here and they do this, we'll go with that bigger running flat. See that possibility there? And then downside. That downside is going to happen. There's no question. If we go down from this point, then I think we were looking at it yesterday with my traders that it's possibly this running flat in the making. So if we get a sell setup here today, we'll go with that trade. We'll take it to see whether it goes. If it turns out that they're making a bigger flat here, we'll get break even out of that trade, a bigger flat like this, and then we'll expect one more up there. That is something like this. And then we're going to go down. So let's see which one out of those two patterns, because it will go down and it will come to this level. We're not turning at that point. It's way too early, right? That is too short. That is way too short. It has to come to about like this level before they go. We're expecting a running flat, but not such a short one, right? Because the impulse we're looking for the downside is this impulse. And this thing has a lot of big corrections in it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bigger correction in here. That is possible. So let's wait for the trade setup. Either we get a buy or we get a sell today. Right now, I'm looking for the sell. We don't have it this yet, right? If this goes back up here and then come here, that's a buy setup. But it's not going to, it will probably do this for a longer while before you get it. So it's not going to go today. Pound New Zealand, you broke the top. Let's see where we're going now. Okay, so one more high. We still don't have divergence, which is telling us that there's still probably one more in that trade to the upside. Let's go to the 1 hour. Yep, we still don't have divergence in the bigger structure. We have internal divergence, which is a small trade. So if this stays here in consolidation, that's another trade up. We have some smaller divergence here, which means this correction could be bigger. If we get a sell setup, we should take it. It just means that the correction downwards could be a bigger one, right? And then go, because we don't have divergence on the bigger chart. Could it be the reversal point? It could also be. Let's see if we get the reversal there. I don't see anything that is a good sell as yet. Maybe this one. It's a small flag forming there right now. Yep. Not the best one either, but a small one you're getting here. See this? Come back here, go back up, and then you'll get a small flag here for a sell. That's a very small one though. Be careful with it. You have to have a little. You have to have a little higher skill level to trade those. You have to make decisions really fast. Okay, Pong Yen might be going up back. We can assume that this is the running flat. Any flag buy. This is confirming the upside. This is the only yen one that is confirming the upside, right? This is the only yen pair that is confirming upside. It doesn't have a flat at the bottom here. It's actually going up. So my son is up. He just woke up. He's looking for me. So let's get this and look for the trade to the upside. See? So here's what I'm going to do, guys, because today I'll just go through, I'll just finish all the Forex one, and I'll end today's webinar for now. I'll do the rest later in the day. Pound Swiss. Look for the buy setup. It might come down some more. Let's see. Yeah, the possibilities is not going to go today. We could come back here. If you get a sell setup, go for it. We'll still stay in this thing for a while. So if they stop there and give you a sell setup here, go for that trade. Downwards. If it breaks out, make a flag, go for the buy, but it's most likely going to come more because I can see that this pattern is telling me it's incomplete. New Zealand Swiss. Okay, we are expecting an up move like this, but the question is that the start of it? Maybe. We're expecting this up move, right? We've got this down move here. You got to get a move up back to the top there, and then you're going to get a drop. So something like this has to happen there. And then the downside. So if you get a flag by it, if it gives you a flag on the upside, take the trade. It could be the start of the upside. Wait for another flag here and buy. This would be the start to the upside. This would be a very small flat in the middle here. That would be a contracting flat. See this piece here? This is a contracting flat. You got to move up. You get a contracting flat. You go wait for another flag here and buy. It's going to be a slow move up. See, this one went up really slow. And that's the one we're looking for, something like that. And after that, we're going to come back down. So this is the running flat part in that. Go there, come back here. You get this running flat in the middle. See? So let's see. That is a pattern that we know. If it's good, is it going to make that pattern? Well, let's see. We'll all see. Most likely it's going to do it. So trade it up. New Zealand CAD. Okay, you might be getting a sell setup here. Take this off. Take both of them off. This is looking more like one more drop. I'll be careful of this sell, even if you get the sell. Because there's a big move to the upside coming. And we're almost at the bottom of that move. See this one here? We're almost at the bottom of this. So I'll be careful of that sell because they might just drop very small and start to go back up. It might not go very far, but you can still take the trade and see how far it goes. Get it to break even if it doesn't go far. CAD Swiss. Okay, so the top buy, I don't think this is good. I don't think this is the one going out because this is be a very weird type of a flat. If it breaks out, make a flag, buy. And if they break out and come back here, we'll probably get a bigger running flat. So we'll make it a more complex pattern here. So be careful. If you're taking that buy, just be careful because this flat here is really sharp. It's strong. It's strange, that one. And not that it doesn't happen, but it's strange when you get it like that. So I'll be careful of this. You can take the trade, wait for a flag, take the trade. Just be careful. And there's a lot of divergence. Probably trade something else. So guys, I will end this webinar here today. It's only the Forex part of it. I would do the stocks and the cryptos a bit later. It's Friday. I don't know if you need them, but I'll do them because I think cryptos all during the weekend, you can trade it. So trade with care. Have a great weekend. If you only trade Forex, I will see you on Monday. If you trade stocks and cryptos, you can still watch the other webinars. And over the weekend, I'll do for next week. See all of you then. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.